What's up, guys? Um, so today's Tuesday. So no, it's not really midweek, but I try to do a video between Friday night and Friday night. So this is my midweek video. Fidgeting as always, but so I want to tell y'all a story. What happened last weekend? Ended up having a great weekend. Little backstory. I am heavyfoot. I used to have my NASCAR license. Small time. Local round tracks and stuff. I'm always love racing. I still watch NASCAR every weekend. I know NASCAR and Pokemon don't always go together, but for me, they do. I had a Pokemon shirt I wore to every track. It was my lucky shirt, and the kids there would call me the Pokemon Man, so I thought that was cool. Every car in my driveway is a super sport. Um, and then every vehicle is a GM because we got the Tahoe and Escalade too. And so, and ain't real super sport unless it's V. I just want to give you that backstory. The type of guy I am. Like, I got a 2020 Camaro Super Sport with a 6.2 liter, 455 horsepower. She's a badass car. Um, get on the gas, let off gas. It does that popping burble noise. Jackson said it sounds like popcorn. So then Brandy ended up nicknaming the car Princess Poppy. So I got this little decal the wife gave me, a Princess Poppy. I got it on the back of my window at the very bottom, just kind of hidden, but not really hidden. And the car's name is Poppy. So, anywho, we ended up taking Jackson out of football for various reasons. The main one being he's 5, and they were doing practice Thursday. I mean, not Thursday, but Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 6 to 8. Me and Amy both work, and honestly, it was really hard for us to get to the football field by 6. And doing that 4 times a week was kind of ridiculous for us, and we're not a football family. I watch Super Bowl every year, and that's about it. I couldn't tell you the first person on the team unless there's somebody famous like Mahomes, you know. Anywho, so we took him out, got him in soccer. He played soccer last year. He was really good at. He's really fast at running. I think he was the fastest on the football team when he practiced running. No, he was the second fastest. Last year he was the second fastest on the soccer team. So I mean, he's got speed, and I know he can use his speed and soccer. But so there was a small pop up show. It was Pokeman Dan opened up a store here in Goldsboro. I knew about it, but it was gonna be Saturday. His first Jackson will have like a football game scrimmage thing, and so I didn't even try to go because I was going to go to the football thing. But then when we took him out of football last minute, okay, so I hit up Dan on Facebook, asked if he had a table. He said no. Kind of figured he wouldn't. He said it was only going to be a 45 table show, it was a real small one. So I was like, hey, no big deal. I'm from the area. I'm still going to go there and support you. And that it was like 5 miles away. It wasn't that bad. So I got up Saturday morning, took a shower, whatever, and took Poppy, and we went to the Pokemon show 5 miles up the road. Get there 15 minutes before the doors open, wait in line just like everybody else. I walk in. Mainly, I was going in to talk to some of the vendors because you kind of hang out with the same vendors at each show. I've noticed this, and it's good to keep them connections going. So I went in. I was by myself. Went in, talked to a couple vendors, and I noticed an empty table. So I went. So Pokeman Dan's store is here. It's in a shopping center. And then next door was basically an empty, or could be another store that they just had rented out for, I guess, the weekend for the show. So I went back to Pokemon Dan, and he had a line getting in the store. Store was crazy. It was popping. I mean, it was crazy busy, which is cool. But he had a guy letting people in and out. So the guy opened the door, and he was like, "How many?" I was like, "Look, I just need to talk to Dan for a minute." He was like, "Well, Dan's busy, customer." I was like, "Yeah, I'm a vendor. he's got an empty table next door. I kind of want to see if I can get it. And he was like, yeah, Dan's going to have to know about it. I said, yeah, I know. Cause you think we can try to? So we went there, got his attention. Dan was super helpful, super nice. He was like, let me see. So we walked next door, looked at the two tables. There's actually two tables empty. I knew Amy wasn't going to be able to help. School at the college had just started back Friday, and she was doing her lesson plans and stuff for whatever clinicals. I don't know what she doing, but she was busy. Um, so he called the guy and was like, had him on speakerphone. Hey man, you coming? Guy said, excuse me. The guy said, no, nah, man, I ain't having to get called to work. I ain't gonna be able to make it. Dan was like, well, I'm gonna sell your table. And the guy's like, yeah, that's cool. So he asked if, so he's like, yeah, man, if you want it, you can buy it. And I was like, can I get a discount since, the show's already started? I ain't set up, hang on myself. And, oh, wait, before that, he said, do you have your stuff with you? And I was like, no, but I live 5 miles up the road. Like, I can go get it and come back. While he was on the phone with that guy, I was texting Amy, and I was like, I think I'm getting ready to vend this show. And then that's when he, said, yeah, if you want to buy the table, you can. I asked if I could get a discount since the show's already started, and I didn't have none of my stuff. And he said, no, he'd just call somebody else off the wait list. So, I mean, that's fair. Nobody else ever came for the other table. I did talk to him later. He said that he called people on the wait list, but they couldn't make it for various reasons, which is cool. So, I kind of feel like I missed a lot off in the beginning, but I'm not really butthurt about it at all because overall had an amazing show. It was by far amazing. Dan put on an awesome show. But let me get back to my story. Sorry. So shake hands, go to leave, get in the car. As I'm leaving, I call Amy, see what she's doing. She's like, I'm unloading the Escalade, getting it ready for you. And I was like, that's why I married you. Yes, ma'am. Let's go. So anywho, I'm on Poppy, Camaro, and going down 70, and I'm going, oh, that sounded as cool on the camera as it did in my mind just then. But I mean, just balling all of 55 miles an hour in case any law enforcement people are watching this. But 55 miles an hour. Not faster, I promise. Anyway, my dad works at Sasser's Golf Carts, and they're right there off the highway. And as soon as I pass them, within like a half mile, phone rings. It's Dad. Answer the phone, and he said, boy, you better slow your ass down. And I kind of laughed, and I was like, what, are y'all outside and you heard me go by? And he said, no, we were in the showroom inside and heard some stupid ass fly by on a Camaro, coming up on a Camaro, and they were like, look at that guy, and I looked, and it was my son. So I thought that was pretty funny that they could hear me in the showroom going 55 miles an hour. And he got home, grabbed some things. He didn't grab all my stuff, but grabbed the majority, most of my stuff. Went back. Dan had his man help me load the stuff in. So I got set up. I finally got set up about 11:30, even though the show started at 10. Had no cash on me, so no change. That kind of hurt me, especially in the beginning, because people wanted a $3, $4, $5 card. I couldn't break the 20. I had neighbors beside me. They're from Goldsboro. We worked a couple shows together. They did break a couple 20s for me a few times, so that was real thankful. And they also helped watch my stuff when we were loading up at the end, so I'm very thankful to them. But I killed it up for the most part. Got there. Dylan, he's a police officer. He also sells Pokemon cards on the side. I know him from like restock days and stuff like that. But he was there doing security, which was cool. He immediately bought out all my Astral Radiance booster packs. Already, empty slot in my dispenser that I have a six pack wide dispenser and a 3-pack one I sit on top of. So boom, already empty. Throughout the day, the Do Boys came, the ones that are on TikTok, like, tonight is going night, I get the bub woman. If you don't know, you know, but if you do know, you know. Anywho, and they got a big following, probably, I think, over 1 million followers. And then there was this other guy who I don't know who he was, but the kid beside me, 16, showed me he had like 1.5 million followers on Instagram. Kudos to him, I guess. Um, so Dan had some firepower there, and it brought in a lot of people. And so I sold out of Surgeon Sparks, sold out of Paldean Fates, sold out of Lost Origins. These are all these individual packs, that dispenser. I had more Surgeon Sparks at the house. And I'm also starving because I only had yogurt that day because I did not know I was vending. So I text Amy, hey, if you get a chance, can you please bring them Surgeon Sparks from the house and buy me some food and a drink? And she did. She saved the day. But also, I went to another vendor and bought the Paldean Fate tins from him, busted open the tins, filled up my dispenser again, sold out of Paldean Fates again, had to go to another vendor, buy booster boxes. I mean, not booster boxes, booster bundles of Paldean Fates, fill it up again, and still sold some more. Sold out of the Surgeon Sparks that Amy brought me. Had to go to another vendor, and he had some loose packs, and I bought all of his loose packs, and put them in my dispenser instead. So this one guy, he bought two ETBs, $80 a piece, $160. His total ended up being $358. So that's how many he bought $200 worth of loose packs. I mean, just ridiculous. Super thankful. I sold some singles. I bought and traded a few singles, but it was definitely a pack show. I did over $1,500, which was not bad for me to get up that day, not knowing I was going to do anything. A lot of Cash App. Thank God my wife told me to get Cash App and Venmo and Square and PayPal, because at the end of the day I had like $120 cash on me, which I did buy the Paldean Fates twice. I did buy Surgeon Sparks. I also bought some Crown Zenith. I didn't sell out Crown Zenith, but I came close, so I went and bought some because the guy was packing up and had a good deal. So yeah, that was good. I'm glad Amy told me to get all those. But yeah, Dan did an awesome job. He had a guy over here and the vendor area walking around handing us water. It was a little hot in there. It wasn't like scorching hot, but I won't say if the AC was on. I won't say the AC was on like 80. Wasn't a lot of airflow or nothing, but the guy would come around and hand us water. That's when he even offered to go tell us what the food trucks outside had for food, and then he could come back and we could pay him and he'll go get it for us. Just super helpful guy. I even asked Dan if he was going to put on a bigger show, because if he could do that for a little show, Dan could do amazing work with a big show. Seriously, he had a lot of firepower there. Did awesome. We had vendors did awesome. At 7 o'clock, they ended up raffling a PSA 10 Moomiron, from Evolving Skies, like the OG Moomiron, and they had souls that day on eBay for like 3,200, 2,900, 3,100, around 3,000 range. And first of all, everybody left and they put their tickets in the drawing, and then a tenth of them came back. So he had hundreds of tickets, and maybe vendors couldn't get a ticket, and maybe 30, 40 people standing there. So he called out so many numbers first, and nobody was there. And then the guy ended up winning, and it was a grandpa. I mean, an old dude, bless his heart, 70, 80. Did not know what he was doing. He was there with his grandkids. Very cool that he brought him there, but he ended up winning a $3,000 card. I'm pretty sure he probably sold it before he left. I wouldn't be surprised if Dan offered him like 2,800 cash. I don't know. But either way, that was cool. Congratulations to him. Thank you for my video sponsor, Jab's Corner Store. Thank you, my wife Amy, for all she's done, and the vendors that helped me out and everything. eBay's kind of slowed down, but I kind of haven't put no good stuff up there. I put my Christmas ornaments up there. Still got more to put up, but My next show ain't that I know of ain't till Concord 21st, 20th and 21st in Concord. Man, Josh supposed to be going with me to help. He lives in Winston-Salem. We don't get to hang out ever, but we do hang out every night on PlayStation. Except for Wednesday nights, cause he's a little whipped and has to have a date night. I mean, I guess I'd rather a date night on Wednesday night than Saturday night, but that's cool. Whatever. Thank you, Kayla. Appreciate you letting him play. But that's it. I've rambled on enough. About 15 minutes in this. So if you watch this far, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Ashley, I know you will. Thank you. Levi, I know you'll comment, so thank you. I don't know who I'm going to tag in this video. I've been tagging people on Facebook. It could be you.